2.4. Notice it's titled More About Linear Equations. Meaning, okay, we've already done some with linear equations, right? Slope, y equals mx plus b. Now we're going to do more with linear equations. So we're still going to work with slope. We're still going to work with y equals mx plus b, but we're going to look at a couple other things. So, help me out. What do you guys remember about slope from yesterday? Rise of a run is our phrase, yes? And so, wouldn't hurt to write that down. Rise over run is our phrase we use for slope, or y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, right? Old news there. Okay. Slope-intercept form we talked about yesterday. Y equals mx plus b. Old news, right? Okay. Standard form is listed here, which standard form is ax plus by equals c, given that a, b, and c are integers, so that means like whole numbers, and a and b are not 0. So we will practice a little bit with how to get a number into, or how to get an equation into standard form. And then there's one form on here that's not on here that I'm going to put on here, because it's one that I didn't used to use as much, but I started using it. Do you guys remember something called point slope form? Yeah? So Mrs. Rogers did a good job and taught that. There was a phase at one point where they kind of told us, you know what? You can do everything without point slope form. You don't really need to teach point slope form. But I like point slope form, okay? And it's really kind of made more of a comeback, and people tend to use it more. So point slope form, y minus y1 equals m times, in parentheses, x minus x1. So that baby rings a bell. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. This is where it's important that you're filling in the notes with me, because otherwise this isn't in your notes, guys. Okay? Now, I will put in here, it does go through the point x1, y1 with a slope of m, right? So if you're trying to figure out what that is, this is through point x1, y1 with slope m. And I'm off the screen. So that is point slope form. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, goes through the point x1, y1, and has a slope of m. We're going to use that one a lot. I like it. It does good things. Okay, got that written down? The other two things, what? Slope m, it stops there. As in, slope is represented by the letter m. I think the only thing I'm kind of cutting off, oh, I guess yours does go. I forget my screens aren't the same exactly. There's a little bit on this screen it was on. Okay. The other thing down there, parallel and perpendicular lines. You worked with those in Algebra 1 a little bit too. Parallel lines, what do I mean parallel lines? It's mean to be parallel. Like this, right? Railroad tracks is what, a common example. Okay, two lines that run the same direction but never cross each other. Those are parallel lines. Now, in algebra, what we need to know about parallel lines is that they have the same slope. So if you know a line has a slope of 3/4, then any line parallel to it also has the slope of 3/4. Perpendicular lines. What's it mean to be perpendicular? They cross how? 90-degree angle. Okay. So I gotta be specific. They cross at a 90-degree angle is perpendicular. Perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes. Okay, I'm going to write 90 degrees in there in case anyone's trying to remember what perpendicular means. They have an opposite reciprocal slope. So let me give an example here. What would be an opposite reciprocal slope of 3/5?
5/3.
Half right.
Negative 5/3.
Okay. Opposite means instead of positive, we're going to say
Negative.
negative. Instead of 3/5, 5/3. Okay, so, sorry guys, can you read that? Kind of got squished in there. Opposite reciprocal slopes, an example is 3/5 and negative 5/3. In all honesty, the parallel perpendicular examples don't happen till the end of the lesson. So I probably won't get to them today. But I will talk about them probably via video unless I decide to go a different direction on Monday. Okay? Excuse me, Tuesday. Whatever. I'm going to keep saying Monday because
Maybe you should.
a week starts on Monday.
Maybe you should come to school on Monday.
You know, in all honesty, I probably will come to school on Monday to leave my sub plans because I'm not going to have them ready to go before I leave today. So, and here's what I will say, guys. I'll have all the information in Schoology, okay? So you'll know what to do. Okay, let's look at some of these examples. Example 1 asks us to write an equation given a point and a slope. So write the equation of the line with the following slope passing through the given point. Now, it doesn't tell us what form it wants it in. And we're going to practice two different things. So the first two problems, we're going to practice putting them in what we called point slope form. So the one that you wrote in up there, we're going to practice putting these in point slope form. Do you remember what point slope form was up above?
Y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1.
Okay, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, and those x's are in parentheses. Okay, so that's what we're going to do on A and B to practice here. And you always got to watch. In Math Excel, they'll tell you, we want point slope form. We want slope intercept form. On any quiz or test I give you, I'll tell you. So, on example A here, we're told the slope is 3/5. So we're going to put 3/5 in for our
M.
What are negative 5 and 2?
Those are your coordinates.
There are coordinates. What are they going to go in for?
X and Y.
But not specifically X and Y. X1 and Y1. I know, I'm being nitpicky, aren't I? But I have to be nitpicky to make sure we all end up on the same page here. So, we're filling in the form Y minus Y1 equals M times X minus X1. So, as I fill this in, Y minus, what's my Y1? 2 equals M. M is given as 3/5. Parentheses, X minus, what's my X value?
Negative 5.
Negative 5.
Plus 5.
Okay, now I, for the moment, wrote it as X minus negative 5. Is Math Excel going to take that? No, they won't take minus and negative. What do we know about minus and negative?
It makes it positive.
It's plus. Okay, so I wrote it like this just as a demonstration, but you really need to make sure you clean it up and instead say Y minus 2 equals 3/5 times X plus 5. And you stop there. It asks for point slope form. That's all it wants. Don't go any farther. Okay? That wasn't too difficult, was it?
No.
So can you handle B then?
Already did it.
Even better, already did it. B, we're told the slope is -3, and the ordered pair is 7, -1, which means that ordered pair goes in for
your x1, y1.
x1, y1. Okay. Who, other than Justin, is going to read this off for me?
Trevor is. Why don't you, Trevor?
You want me to tell you what I got?
Go for it.
Okay, is it y1 plus 1 equals -3 in parentheses x minus 7?
Yep. Only thing is I wouldn't say y1 there because I think, but
Just y.
yeah, y plus 1
Oh, never mind. It's a scribble.
equals
That's a
-3
scribble.
times x minus 7. Okay. I wouldn't say y scribble either, so. But yeah.
Y scribble.
Okay, now, how did he get y plus 1?
Because your y1 is originally -1.
Yeah.
So he just made it a positive.
So if you say y minus -1, I agree. Final answer, he should have y plus 1. -3
Is your m.
is your m, and then it's x minus 7,
Which is your x.
which just says stays x minus 7. Okay. You guys can handle that stuff, right? Now, I'm trying to put a dividing line here. I've got really dark. On this next problem, given the same information, this time we're not going to stop at point slope form. I'm going to ask you to continue to slope intercept form. But here's what I'm going to teach, is I'm going to teach it as we start with point slope, but then we end in slope intercept form. So if you're asked to write something in slope intercept form, we can start at point slope form. Okay, that's one option. It's not the only option. And you've probably been taught another way along the way also, but it works for what we're doing here. Okay, so first of all, we're going to start with point slope. Our goal in the end is to get to slope intercept. What is slope intercept form?
Y equals mx plus b.
Y equals mx plus b. Okay. Point slope. Cam, you want to read off point slope for me this time?
Y plus 3 equals 1/4 x minus 2.
Okay. So, he says y plus 3 because it was y minus -3, right? But minus negative is really a plus 1/4 times x minus 2. So right there, we are in point slope form. I'm trying to go to slope intercept form. So what does my goal have to be?
Get y by itself.
Yeah, we're getting y by itself there, aren't we?
Yes.
Now, so there's generally 2 steps to do here to get y by itself.
Oh, we need to get rid of the
Can we distribute? Yeah, get rid of the parentheses, then we will move the 3.
Okay.
I'm just not quite there. So if we keep y plus 3, now when you distribute, 1/4 times x is
1/4 x.
1/4 x minus 1/4 times 2. What is a 1/4 times 2? A half. If you want, you can say 1/4 times 2/1, which is 2/4,
Which is 1/2.
which is 1/2.
So it would be minus 1/2.
So minus 1/2.
And now you move your 3.
Okay, so after you distribute and get rid of the parentheses, I am more than willing to move that 3. So if it's y plus 3,
You subtract 3.
subtract 3. If I subtract 3 on the left,
You're going to give to everything.
we subtract 3 on the right. So, y equals 1/4 x stays as
1/4 x.
1/4 x minus 1/2 minus 3. 3.5?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would think that as well. That, because it's negative 1/2 minus 3 is negative 3.5. Now, so part of you could say negative 3.5, yes?
Yes.
What if Math Excel's in a mood and it says
You
no
have to make it
decimals?
an improper fraction.
Okay, make it improper. Remember how to do that? 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7,
And then you keep your denominator.
and keep your denominator, which makes it negative 7 over 2.
Negative 7.5.
Okay. So that is the technique I tend to teach more than anything else to get to slope-intercept form. Now, if someone teaches you a different technique of a different way to find b, that's fine. I support both ways. But to try and keep everything consistent, this is what I'm going to teach right now. Okay? Questions on how we did all that? Okay. What's different with the next row of examples?
You've got 2.
Instead of giving us a lovely slope and a point, they just gave us 2 points. They said, forget the slope. We're not giving you the slope. Which means we can't do this without the slope, can we?
Just plug it in on a graph. And then connect the dots so you can find the slope.
Yeah. We could graph them. I don't like to graph unless I have to. So I prefer to use the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay? So, on this first one, we're going to do point slope. And then we'll practice the slope-intercept form. Okay? So, let's do example A. Remember, I know, kind of silly of me, but, you know, even as sophomores, juniors, seniors, you need this reminder. What's the order in an ordered pair? X, Y. X, Y, right?
X1, X, Y1, X2, Y.
Yep, and you can label them as X1, Y1, X2, Y2. Okay, so to find slope, this is getting to be old news, right?
Yes.
Y minus Y over X minus X. So you guys are going to tell me to do
8 minus 2 over 5 minus 3.
8 minus 2 over 5 minus 3. 8 minus 2 is 6. 5 minus 3, 2. Don't stop at 6 over 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Okay, so right there. Slope of 3. Now, I told you up front, on this first problem, your job is to point slope is what I want you to go for. Do you remember what point slope is, or did you forget already?
Y equals Y1. Y minus Y1 equals M times X minus X1.
Okay, so what we're filling in, I think I wrote too big, I'm going to run out of room here. Y minus Y1 equals M times X minus X1. That's the form I'm asking you for. So, what are you guys going to do?
We're going to use the first one, right?
Okay, Justin says we're going to use the first one, and then he says right with a question in his voice.
I mean, you just use the coordinate. Like, you just use Y1.
That's
Okay,
what I said.
and here's the deal, okay? Justin chooses to use 3 and 2, and he uses his slope of 3, he's got it good. If instead Maya says, no, I want to use 5 and 8, and she uses her slope of 3, she's also correct. Okay, so there's 2 correct answers here. You can use either one. Yep, that's it doesn't matter which one you officially label as X1, Y1 up above. Either point could be X1, Y1. Okay? So, one option is to say Y minus 2 equals 3 times X minus 3. Or, I'm going to write them both on here. Y minus 8 equals 3 times x minus 5. I don't care which you use, and get this. Math Excel doesn't care which you use. I know that's a crazy thought, isn't it?
Yeah,
that Math Excel can be
pretty
flexible. They are pretty picky, but if you're given 2 points and asked to write it in point slope form, Math Excel will accept either or, assuming they're typed correctly.
I kind of forgot that I used both.
Okay. Okay, that was A. How do we feel about that? Got the idea?
Sure.
Now, because I'm trying to make sure I get as much in as I can, I'm going to skip over to C. And guess what? Instead of stopping at point slope on C, we're going to go to
Slope-intercept form.
slope-intercept form. Okay, so in an ordered pair, of course it is x, y, x, y. No matter what type of equation I'm doing, what do I have to find?
Your slope.
Yeah, we have to find slope. So, M equals, what are we putting on top here?
-5 minus -3.
-5
plus 3.
minus -3.
Also,
If we put -5 minus -3 on top, then for the bottom we go back and we say 6
6 minus -2.
6 minus -2. I don't know what you guys were taught way back when in middle school. I teach keep, change, opposite.
That's what I did.
Keep, change, opposite. So -5 plus 3 is -2. Keep, change, opposite. 6 minus -2, or excuse me, 6 plus +2 is 8.
Yeah.
But we're not going to leave it as -2/8.
No, you're going to leave it as -1/4.
We're going to reduce it to -1/4. Okay. There's our slope, yes?
Yes. Now we plug it in.
We need a slope, and what else to write this equation? A point. Which one?
6 and -5.
Okay, whichever one makes you happy, right?
And then a positive with the 6, so that's why I chose
I don't know. I actually like the negatives better, honestly, because of how they end up then. He gave me the look. I'm going to use -2, -3. And here's the deal. It doesn't matter which one you use. If done correctly, we'll work out with the same answer. Notice I said if done correctly, right? You can't make any mistakes. Now, I want slope-intercept form in the end. But where do we start?
You got to have point slope form to start.
We're going to start with point slope form. Okay? So we're starting with point slope. So point slope is going to read
Y equals Y1.
y minus, which value am I using?
Whatever value you picked.
Okay, I'm picking -3.
I picked.
Y minus -3 equals, then we're going to do slope, -1/4, parentheses, nope, don't put in, x minus -2. And here's the deal. I use -3, so I have to use -2. If Justin wants to use -5 on the first one, he has to use 6 now.
Yes.
That's all that matters. Now, okay, minus -3 is really +3, minus -2 is really +2. Now, I said we're not stopping here, right?
Right.
Our goal is to get
Slope-intercept form.
slope-intercept form. And if we're going for slope-intercept form,
Got to distribute.
we're going to distribute first. So we're going to distribute that -1/4. So y plus 3 equals -1/4 times x is negative 1/4 x. Negative 1/4 times 2. Didn't we do this earlier? Yeah. Yeah, this problem's working out kind of similar to another problem, isn't it? Yeah. Negative 1/4 times positive 2 is negative 1/2. See the problem above. Since it was y plus 3, we're going to subtract 3. Y equals negative 1/4 x. What was minus 1/2 minus 3 earlier?
Negative 7/2.
Yeah. It's negative 3.5, which we're going to say is negative 7/2. If you tried to go the other way, if done correctly, you should have met me in the end.
I changed my mind.
Decided you didn't want to do it on your own, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Point slope, slope-intercept form. When you go to, work on this, look back at your notes on Tuesday, okay?
Yes.
Now, real quick, I want to talk about problem type 3. That way I have a little bit less to do in the notes for you that I leave a video on. Assuming that's the direction I'm leaning towards. I could totally change my mind between now and Tuesday, just so you know. Okay. Now, first of all, typo. We just practiced slope-intercept form. This isn't supposed to say slope-intercept form. I'm asking you to write the equation in...
Point slope.
Nope. Standard.
Darn it.
Standard form, which if you look back up at the top of your paper, AX
plus BY equals C.
plus BY equals C. So, X's and Y's need to be on one side. Numbers on the other side, and here's the big one, guys. No fractions or decimals. None. Zero, zilch. Okay? So, we have to make two things happen real quick. First of all, we have to have X and Y be on the same side, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
And we need this fraction to disappear. It doesn't matter which order I do this in, but those are the two things that have to happen. Do you guys care which we do first?
You pick.
Well, here's my deal. You guys don't like that fraction, do you?
I don't like any fraction.
Okay, exactly. You guys see a fraction, it's like keeling over in pain there. Okay, so
Sometimes.
the fraction has a denominator of 4.
Yes.
That means it's being divided by 4.
Yes.
How do you get rid of dividing by 4? You multiply by 4, yes?
Yes.
So to get rid of that fraction,
You just multiply by 4.
we're going to multiply by 4. Now, we're not multiplying just that fraction by 4.
Everything by 4.
You have to multiply that entire equation by 4. Okay? So, the easy one. 4 times y is?
4y.
4y. On the right, we have to take this 4 and it has to multiply into
This 3/4.
both pieces.
Negative 5.
So what is 4 times 3/4? Think in terms of 4 over 1, and the 4s will cancel.
So it's 3.
So it's 3. So that becomes 3x minus
20.
5 times 4 is 20. Is this problem a little less intimidating once we get rid of the fraction?
Yes.
Yes, because see, now you guys aren't scared to work with it. Now, standard form. X and Y are on the same side.
Y's and X's together.
I have a Y over here. Can we make the X join it? If this is a positive 3x, and we want to move it to the other side, we're going to subtract 3x. What you do on one side, you do on the other side.
Okay.
Now, when I subtract that 3x, I'm actually going to put it out front, just because I like that order. So I'm going to say negative 3x plus 4y equals negative 20. And does that look like a standard form?
Yes.
Okay, so here's the deal. This book doesn't teach that. I know, it's strange. Here's what I'm going to say. Okay, so Lorna just pointed out, some books will teach that you can't have a negative on the A value. And I agree, that's what I've always been taught. But if I recall, they let you leave it negative. unless I'm totally forgetting. So here's what I'm going to say. You can leave it like this, or how do we get rid of a negative there?
You just add a positive.
Okay. What do you say, Jocelyn? You can divide them all by -1 or multiply. Here's what it looks like. Hold on. Give me a moment. Positive 3x minus 4y equals positive 20. I am pretty sure Math Excel will be okay with either. Okay? Tuesday, good behavior. Help each other out. I will, not guaranteed, I'll leave my plans, but I will likely leave you a video and tell you to finish the homework. Okay? Wednesday, I will see you again and we will talk homework. Get caught up in homework. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Yeah, well.